Stephen Gall, going to talk to you now about the cockpit on the motorcycle. I like to sit in a position of where I like my controls for comfort over time, for use both in the seated and the standing position. So firstly, where I sit on the bike is forward, and when I'm sitting forward to centralize my body weight, I like to have the handlebars and all the controls set up so it's comfortable. So moving forward to the handlebars from the seated position, your elbows always need to be out and bent and not drop down by your side. When they're out, you're using the larger muscle groups in your back. The muscle group gives you a lot more strength and control and flexibility. So in that position there, you want the handlebars that are comfortable for you. Now, if you're taller, you need higher handlebars, maybe some bar risers. If you're my height, about the 5'10", 5'11", standard bars are just nice as they are. Find a position that's comfortable. So sitting forward on the bike, you want the bars comfortable, your elbows are bent, and you're comfortably sitting the bike viewing forward. Okay, with our front brake and our clutch levers, have them as slightly down position because your elbows are up, your arms are facing down, so you want them in a compromise also from seated to standing position. We don't stand up as much on an adventure bike, but we do at times, and we need to be in a comfortable position to compromise both positions. Front brake, free play, making sure you're comfortable with what sort of free play you use on the front brake. Some people like it to come in right up against their fingers. Some people like to have it out. It's very, very touchy and sensitive. So when I said come in against your fingers, I always use 1 or 2 fingers on the front brake. That's strong enough. Today's brakes, my well rate stops on a dime with 2 fingers, no problem. So using 2 fingers is comfortable. Having come in, stopping before it hits the other fingers on the handlebar so I can modulate braking pressure is what I want. While we're on the right hand side of the handlebar, the throttle, having just minimal free play. So just a little bit of free play, so you've got very good throttle control. You're not winding a whole lot of free play, then turning the throttle on. You're very, very comfortable with just that little bit of free play for correct modulation of the throttle. Moving to the other side of the handlebar, the clutch, having a little bit of free play again on the clutch, not riding of course. When I say riding, I don't mean too tight where the clutch will ride. So have a little bit of free play, again that slight downward angle. And again, I'm using 2 fingers on the clutch, sometimes 1 finger. Just depends on the situation and depends a lot on how easy your clutch is to pull in. A little bit of lube in the clutch, hydraulic clutches are very easy, so it just depends on what sort of setup you've got. So that basically is my setup. Of course, on an adventure bike, we've got our mirrors that we want to have both of them on the bike. That's the legal requirement. We're also having them adjusted so we can see back and comfortably in arrears. Of course, you can't have both. Maybe you set one up for a standing position and one for a seated position, but that's pretty tough. I typically worry about the standing in more difficult terrain where I don't really need to look behind me, and then the seated position will have the road, the comfortable trail use, the comfortable four-wheel drive trail use, so looking rearwards is fine with both mirrors. So that just about wraps it up from my point of view. I've got my phone on the handlebars as well, mounted on a quad lock system, so it allows the phone not to be jarred too much without that flexible quad lock system which really rattles and takes the jarring out of the phone. So that's about it for now, just a quick easy one. Thanks for Stephen Gall. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of a tip on All Man Speed, and see you next time.